31st March 21, Singapore Shipping Association, Singapore Maritime Foundation. Thank you very much indeed from my heart, because you are really making a leader of what a maritime nation should be. Probably, if there is a leader like Singapore, some other countries will follow and or try to, because when we are a competitor, or you are a competitor, Singapore, then we must keep the gap with the second innovate research development. Now, these are recommendations from a member of Singapore Shipping Association, which we are with Candina Fleet PTA Limited. And first of all, thank you very much indeed for the internships candidates we have, which we have pre-selected, and thank you very much Singapore Maritime Foundation. I believe that we can start competitive advantages, but we must do so from the roots. We must first start rowing together, and these, of course, young people row better because they have more health, more long-term possibility. Because, as we say, we the Basques here, it's long row. This is a Basque say about this. Therefore, we went to Terranova many years ago fishing, and now still we are in the same business. So we are in Singapore. I really recommend that the International Maritime Employer Council believes that having a branch in Philippines, okay, is nice, but I believe members of Singapore Shipping Association, a lot of them, and including us, we are members of International Maritime Employers Council, and I recommend strongly to have a branch in Singapore. Why? Because we are employers, and employers must really have a core competence, the focus towards the strategies of the employer. In Singapore, there's a huge amount of employers in shipping, and therefore members of IMEC. So then, instead of having a branch where a supplier is, which is in the case of Filipino crew, really the target should always be, like my late father used to tell me, where the business is. The business is in the intrinsic value, in the opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost, which is also defined as economists we say, is utility. And this is a beautiful word, that utility is in Singapore. So it has to be worked from the roots. Therefore, we are in Singapore. Via these internships, we are going to show to the world that it is possible to generate managers very young, because they must be focused in very few targets, but very important ones. And I believe the most important target is to represent ourselves into these meetings with the Singapore Shipping Association and push members so that we obtain to have a International Maritime Employers Council branch in Singapore, which should be in the office of Singapore Shipping Association. Of course, it's just a little vote, it's just a little idea, it's just, as you say, far away, but I am rowing together with Singapore Shipping Association until we get this target done. Once we get this target done, then from Singapore Shipping Association we can work very strong towards improving the suppliers relation, which one of them could be Filipinos. I mentioned in many ways that there are a lot of ships under Singaporean flag or Singapore interests. Even Candina has the future interest, since in 2017 we opened Candina Fleet PTA Limited in Singapore. So in suppliers we have a huge opportunity cost which we can account for, and we can measure this proactive research development. For example, In the Filipino side, there is about 20% between net wage and gross wage. So we can kindly ask this supplier, which is the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, AMOSUB, whatever other labor unions, that if they want to really compete today, please, let's compete together. Why? Because we can really make 20% more competitive the Filipino crew. This is one target. Target two could be just benchmark with the other nationalities, so we can simplify the international bargaining forum or agreements. Crew labor agreements must be simplified. They have been not restructured in the last, let's say, 60 years. And even they made them more complicated, because now it seems to be very useful to go to different countries to agree to different terms conditions. But I think that if there are around 60, one of the targets of Singapore Shipping Association should be to reduce these to, let's say, one. Very simple. Basic wage, overtime, leave, social bonus, total. This would be ideal for a shipping image and corporate social responsibility to show how we have united all these collective bargaining agreements. And I believe it's also in the interest of the International Transport Federation and all the maritime industry to simplify 90%. Now, the other side that we could also work is the protection and prevention clubs. Previously, it was called protection and indemnity clubs, but I believe this name should be changed, yes. So we recommend these prevention and prevention clubs, yes, protection and prevention clubs, sorry. So that then we start in the prevention. Now we have areas of prevention, thousands. For example, let's start again. Then we have these tests for the COVID. Then we have the vaccinations of COVID. I am sure that in the future there could be some pills for COVID. There is many areas we can prevent and improve the health of seafarers, so we don't get to the word indemnify or indemnity clubs. Let's erase that word from the dictionary. So then we prevent. There is many other areas to prevent the health of seafarers, and there is many psychological also areas that none at shore have looked at, but we can do this. There is plenty ways to improve the health of the seafarers, plenty. And this is just few ideas of cooperation. Then the next, the fourth point is that the Maritime Port Authority of Singapore has done excellent job, is doing excellent job, I think is leader. For example, with regards of Maritime Level Convention, certification, systems, training, this is an area, the fourth tier, that SSA could really look at this, because this crew management business, if it is centralized, headquartered in Singapore, it is very important. And imagine we are talking about 3 million, it was 70,000 ships, 1.5 million seafarers. So I guess if you have 1 million, 100,000 ships now, it should be around 2 million approx seafarers plus 2 million at home. So Singapore could be a leader employer in the world of, let's say, about 4 million. Therefore, if we have 5 million inhabitants in Singapore, perhaps could also employ another 4 million at sea. Well, who knows? We have duplicated the population. What an idea. Then let's simplify this Maritime Level Convention certification of office. These interns that we have in Singapore could really get these certifications and training by Singapore Shipping Association or the Singapore Maritime Foundation. I believe it is a key area, because that's one of the areas that Singapore is leader in the present. We could accountability would be very important for this, because transparency in this respect is very important. In the past, there's the fifth point, which is, for example, it's just the flag, Singaporean flag. Now, There is some issues regarding endorsements. They don't endorse some Peruvian officers or any other countries. Well, this is an area that today perhaps we could start working very strongly. And then we have other areas, for example, now with regards of responsibilities of the flag. Now, here, I see there is a gap that if Singapore would really put their elbows into and rowing a little bit, perhaps we could row together. Many flags have gaps of different sizes and types, and I believe that this employer's gap is very important. What is the responsibility of the flag with respect to the seafarer? Can the seafarer be employed by a different country whilst the flag is of this country? I mean, those issues are interesting to study. Now, classification societies, sixth. We have these multi-services, multi-certificates, multi-sites. It is interesting to know that corporate social responsibility would be something very important, I believe, for the maritime industry to really push forward, that we get some certificates that are including these ISO 9001, environment, health, maritime level convention, corporate social responsibility. Companies in Singapore, we could be, certified worldwide in our sector. This would really strengthen the competitive advantage of Singapore. I believe many of these different certificates overlap each other, and it could be simplified in our case because it is a services-oriented company, but the indicators are very, very important and could be limited. So I believe there could be some kind of lobbying from Singapore towards these classification societies, so they simplify as well as in the prevention, in the clubs, then also in the classification societies. That's an area of interest. I believe that it would be appreciated because probably history would say that it was the first country to simplify and include all these 5 norms, and then also the rest of the show would have to follow. But always would be interesting to note that it was the first one to do that. And there is many other areas, but I'm not going to bother to get people to sleep with all this, and simply just if we go just by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it would be interesting. But just simply a video to say thank you very much indeed. We are not separated by COVID. No, this has made us stronger because I've seen that Singapore has done really huge steps towards maritime industry, and I thank you very much indeed for this year. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be a member of Singapore Shipping Association, but now we have to row faster. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. Bye.